Why I wrote this. Do not fear death, but rather the unlived life. Tuck Everlasting. I was 5 weeks out from this book's deadline when my phone started blowing up one night in a way that lets you know either something amazing just happened or something on the furthest other end from that. The way it was buzzing nonstop, it felt like my phone was furious, and I had a sinking feeling. Tony Hsieh had died. The world had lost a kind-hearted Imagineer and entrepreneur, and I had lost one of my soulmates and partners in positivity. Having been through death before, most painfully the passing of my dad 17 years prior, I was familiar with the feelings and the 5 stages of grief, but this was so different. His passing sent me into one of the most raging tailspins I've experienced. The only salve that brought the occasional calm was the outpouring of love, support, and grief shared with so many others who had been affected and inspired by Tony's life too. We couldn't physically be together because of the pandemic, but as his family, his friends, and the world mourned his loss, I was struck by the feelings of solace and love that can still be felt in a digital age when technology is usually cast as the enemy. In this case, it became a trusted friend. I'll be forever grateful to everyone who shared their humanity with me and each other. My friends and family who took the baton to make sure I was eating and sleeping. My Delivering Happiness, or DH, work family, who gave me all the time I needed to grieve. And people far and wide who sent heartfelt messages that helped me get by, one moment at a time. But there was still a book to write. One that reassures us of the deep meaning in the work we do, and that could inspire leaders to understand scientific happiness in the workplace and what's beyond it. At times, I had doubts that I could pull it off. But as each day passed, from a blur to moments of a slight smile tied to a warm memory, it reminded me how the lights eventually get brighter again, and I realized the irony of it all. Tony's death, with the heavy media storm and cynical, at times heartless questions, was testing all the lessons I'd learned about highs, lows, happiness, and beyond. On some days, it was impossible to focus because his passing was so public. On other days, I looked at the picture of me and Tony on Mount Kilimanjaro and hear his words. Anything is possible. I wasn't sure how things were going to turn out, but I did know Delivering Happiness was a part of Tony. Overnight, it had transformed from a company we co-founded 10 years before to one of the ways that his legacy would live on. I was re-inspired to live out our company's purpose with even more impact on the world. As things cleared in my head, I knew the core messages of this book, the relationships among purpose, people, and profits for growth and impact, were still the same as before he died. Even though the world without a physical Tony would never be the same, the why behind this book and the reasons it had to be written grew in its strength. As Buddhists believe, and American political journalist Norman Cousins wrote, "Death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss is what dies inside us while we live." We have no way of telling what forms our bodies and souls will transition to next, so we might as well live fully and wholly in the here and now, or, as Tony liked to say, unapologetically true to our weird selves. I learned this when my dad died, and now that Tony's passed, it couldn't be a bigger truth to me. We all eventually lose the things we love, including ourselves. But if we can accept this truth, the why behind our existence is clear. Holding space for ourselves and others to be truly who we are while feeling belonging and love. If there's anything in the world that can slow the metastasis of divisiveness, it's the celebration of what unites us. We all want to love and be loved while being true to our weird, authentic selves, whether at work or in life. This book is about understanding the authentic self in our work-life journeys. It shares how we can get back to the core of who we are and live the purposeful life we want through the work we do every day. It shows how we can adapt to unknowns by applying purpose and values to navigate the future. It shines light on some of the defining questions of our time. How can individuals have a greater effect on business growth and success? How can companies modernize org design so we can each do our best work because we love it? How can we find meaning and create a positive impact in our work and communities, regardless of the challenges the world throws our way?